Sperm is the male gamete synthesized by the seminiferous tubules of the testis, and this process is called as spermatogenesis. Hi dear students, welcome to Kavitha's NEET classes. This is lecture number 2 of the series of lectures on gametogenesis. If you haven't watched the first lecture, I will provide the link in the description box and also in the I button above. You can watch the first lecture in which we discuss the process of spermatogenesis. In this lecture, we shall discuss about the structure of the sperm, and we shall also discuss the hormones which are involved in the process of spermatogenesis. First, let's look into the structure of the sperm. The sperm is a microscopic motile structure and it carries the genetic material. Sperm can be divided into 4 regions. It is enclosed by a single plasma membrane. The first region is the head, the second one is the middle piece, the third one is the neck, the third one is the middle piece, and the last part is the tail or the flagellum. The head has a cap-like structure which is called as the acrosome. The acrosome has proteolytic enzymes. What do we mean by proteolytic enzymes? The enzymes which are capable of breaking down proteins or capable of digesting proteins. This is called as proteolytic enzymes. So the acrosome contains proteolytic enzymes, and it is the acrosome which first comes in contact with the ovum, and it is also the one which digests the wall of the ovum and enters into the ovum very first. Okay, so acrosome is very important because it contains the proteolytic enzymes which enable the sperm to make its entry into the ovum. Next comes the head. The head contains the nucleus which contains the genetic material. Okay, so the second important part is the head, and next one is the middle piece. The middle piece is composed of huge number of mitochondria, and it is this mitochondria which gives the enormous energy for the sperm to move. The sperm is a microscopic structure and it is capable of motility. What do you mean by motility? Motility means it is capable of movement. So it is this middle piece which has mitochondria which provides the energy that is required for the sperm's motility or movement. Next, after this is the last region of the sperm, which is the tail, or you can also call it as flagellum. And it is this flagellum which lies outside of the main body of the sperm, and it is the tail or the flagellum which is responsible for the movement of the sperm. Okay, so now you understood what are the different regions of the sperm and what are its uses. So you can also get this as a question in your NEET examination, asking what exactly each of these tails functions are. Say for example, you might get a question like, what is the middle piece composed of and what is the function of the middle piece in the sperm? And you might get 4 options saying the middle piece is responsible for locomotion or movement of the sperm, and the second option might be it has nuclear proteolytic enzymes, so on. Whereas the right answer is the middle piece gives energy because it has mitochondria. It provides energy for the movement of the sperm. So this is how you need to train your mind, as in how you read any new topic. It's not just like a board exam wherein you just read the answer, you memorize it and you go and write the answer in the examination. Here you need to start thinking analytically. You need to analyze what kind of questions might arise from this topic. What kind of questions can my examiner make out of this topic? So as in how you think like this, your preparation becomes more and more efficient and you will be able to crack most number of questions. Okay. So the head contains acrosome and it has an elongated nucleus which consists of the nuclear material, and the middle piece has multiple mitochondria which is responsible for providing energy for the movement of the sperm, and then tail is responsible for movement of the sperm, and then there are around 200 to 300 million sperms that are ejaculated at once. This has also been a question in previous year NEET examination. So what is the number of sperms that is produced in a single ejaculation by a male? So it is 200 to 300 million sperms. So keep this in mind. It is a factual question and it will help you in your examination. Now we shall discuss the hormones which are responsible for the process of spermatogenesis. During puberty, spermatogenesis is initiated, or it begins with the increase in the gonadotropin releasing hormones from the hypothalamus region of the brain. Now, if you want to know in depth about what are these hormones and other hormones which are secreted by the various organs of the endocrine system, you can check the video which I have posted earlier. I have made detailed videos on all the endocrine glands of the endocrine system. I will provide the links for them in the description box. You can check those videos for further details. Here you need to know that it is the increase in the gonadotropin releasing hormone which is synthesized by the hypothalamus of the brain during puberty, which begins the process of spermatogenesis. The gonadotropin releasing hormone acts on the anterior pituitary lobe. So it acts on the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, which stimulates the synthesis of the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone. Okay, so first there is an increase in the gonadotropin releasing hormone, and that in turn stimulates the secretion of the follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone by the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland. So now what does these two hormones do in turn? The luteinizing hormone acts on the Leydig cells for the synthesis of testosterone. Testosterone is a male hormone. So that is why I am telling you, to get more details about each of these hormones, watch the videos on the human endocrine system. So here the luteinizing hormone acts on the Leydig cells, which stimulates the production, which stimulates the synthesis of the testosterone. This testosterone acts on the Sertoli cells of the seminiferous tubules of the testis. Okay. So here you can see that it is the luteinizing hormone which acts on the Leydig cells, which stimulates the synthesis of testosterone, which acts on the Sertoli cells of the seminiferous tubules of testis. So here what does the FSH do? FSH, which is called as follicle stimulating hormone, one, it acts on the Sertoli cells to produce two enzymes. One is the antigen binding protein called as ABP, and the other one is the inhibin. Okay, so FSH again acts on the Sertoli cells of the seminiferous tubules of testis. Okay, so FSH acts on the Sertoli cells and it produces two enzymes. One is the antigen binding protein and the other one is the inhibin. What does this antigen binding protein do? It increases the concentration of testosterone in the seminiferous tubules. Okay, so the antigen binding protein increases the concentration of testosterone in the seminiferous tubule so that there will be more production of sperms. Then what does this inhibin do? Inhibin again goes and acts on the anterior pituitary gland to stop the synthesis of follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so did you understand so far what gonadotropin releasing hormone does and what luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone does? Another function of follicle stimulating hormone is it also acts on the spermatogonium to induce the synthesis of sperms. In my previous lecture, I have already discussed how the spermatogonium undergoes multiple divisions to ultimately produce the sperm. So if you have watched that lecture earlier, you will be able to understand this part very easily. If you haven't watched, please watch that lecture first. Okay, so did you understand how various hormones produced help in the process of spermatogenesis? first and foremost, during puberty, there is the initiation of spermatogenesis by the increase in the gonadotropin releasing hormones by the hypothalamus region of the brain. The gonadotropin releasing hormone acts on the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, wherein it stimulates the synthesis of follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone acts on the Leydig cells of the testis to induce the synthesis of testosterone, and that testosterone again acts on the Sertoli cells, which are an essential component of the process of spermatogenesis. Further, the follicle stimulating hormone also acts on the Sertoli cells to produce two components. One is the antigen binding protein, which maintains the level of testosterone in the seminiferous tubules, and the other one is a protein called as inhibin, which again goes and stimulates, which stops the further production of follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so these are the various hormones which are involved in the process of spermatogenesis. Okay, so I hope you got a clear picture of what is spermatogenesis, what is the structure of the sperm, and what are the various hormones which control the process of spermatogenesis. In my next lectures, I will be discussing about oogenesis and so on. So I hope you have understood the topics very well, and you will be able to answer any questions which come from this particular chapter. And as always I tell you, please do not mug up anything in biology or any other subject, because if you mug up, you cannot find the right answers by using logic or based on the understanding which you have. Only if you understand the topics very clearly, you will be able to solve any sort of tricky question. Instead, if you just memorize and if you mug up questions along with the answers, if suppose the question is tricky or they've changed the words, but ultimately you're not able to identify the answer, it is not going to help you. So please try to understand the topics so that you do not forget and you can clearly mark the right answers in your examination. If you have any queries or comments or suggestions, you can tell me in the comment section below. You can also follow me on all the social media handles. Until I meet you in the next lecture, I wish you all the very best. Take care. Bye. Have a good day.